Hello, you are very welcome to the podcast of Curious Souls.
And you're welcome to leave anytime you want.
I love this.
Hello, my love.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm finding my way today.
Where are you?
I am in my body, trying to balance out between unclear tiredness and some smoke of anger and some rests of frustrations and tiredness mainly. I'm just super tired today.
Okay. I love you.
Thank you. I love you mucho.
So what are we talking about today?
Today we are going to talk about the behind the scenes of adulthood, our flagship offering to the world that I think we both super proud of.
Very proud of.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about this.
Yes.
Mainly behind the scene. Sorry.
What does it mean behind the scenes?
So it's not like we are going to market adulthood now in this episode and tell them what's going on there and all of this. And just to share the spicy moments. How did it happen that we decided to invest a year in developing something which we believe that is a transformational process?
Yeah, it was quite a journey.
It was very transformational.
It was.
Yeah.
We went through a lot. The whole journey that we went through, from inspiration to creation to what happened when we launched it, now that we're on the other side of our first pilgrimage. And maybe we can address the elephant in the room, which is adulthood itself. The name adulthood meets people very different ways. Why did we pick the name adulthood?
Because of this, we wanted to poke people.
Chutzpanit.
Yes,
Yeah.
chutzpaniting. Mm-hmm.
What is it about the word adulthood that is poking people?
I think there is some kind of meaning making. You know, we speak a lot about how meaning making is creating our experience. So we give meaning to ideas, to words, to experiences, to everything. The meaning that attached to adulthood, I feel, is it's like not sexy to be adult. Right? It's like from one side, when a child is doing stupid things, they tell him become an adult. You know, like if you're 16, 17, 18 and you're doing something stupid, your parents will tell you, but you're already grown up, you're already an adult, how come you do things like this? But from the other side, it's like to be an adult is has the connotation of heaviness, of boredom. You know, like a person is boring if he's an adult. Um, it's like doing the same thing, doing what expected from them, have no life, no sassiness, juiciness, all of this. For me, many of the grown up people, meaning they are older in their age, they are still very childish. So they are still I want to say, stuck in this approach to life of there should be someone to take care of me. And I think an adult person understand that the first responsibility they have is to take care of themselves, first of all. And then they can do many other things. I also believe that there is a big difference between being childish and being childlike.
Mm-hmm.
So you meet many people that behave childishly. That's how you say it? Childishly,
Mm-hmm.
let's say. In events where they are triggered or something like this and they just behave like a child. So for me, there is a difference to be a childlike, meaning to carry in you this young energy, which is curious, which is excited, which wants to know more, which wants to move, which wants to taste, which is, yeah, mainly curious, to childish, where it's taking no responsibility on their own, not performance, but behavior. There is no responsibility they're taking for their own behaviors, and they behave like a child where an adult is needed. You want an example?
I want an example.
Let's say you are triggered by me. I did something, whatever it is, and it's triggering you. Behaving like a child in this situation will be to act out. Whatever acting out you play. It can be anger, it can be avoidance, it can be many things. To be an adult in this situation is to address it directly. So tell me, listen, I feel anger coming up for me, and it has to do with this and this and this. Let's talk. Childlike is a completely different situation. So, childish is when there is a need to meet an adult in the room, but you actually meet a child. And childlike is when your adult is having fun. There is no decisions to make. There is just fun and exploration, and you allow this energy of curiosity to lead you. Does it make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Our education isn't really teaching us to take responsibility.
Our education is teaching us to do what we are told and to subordinate to authority. Period.
So we learn that to be a good boy and good girl,
Yes.
and then we're rewarded in whatever way we need to be obedient. And that actually there's always an authority outside of us that we need to listen to and obey. There's this idea of what a good person is, and it's really just a grown up, obedient child.
Eso.
And so, yeah, it's super boring because you're not really living your life, you're living someone else's life, and you're judged if you're not. So, the people who are living alternative lives,
Like us.
like us for sure, are often judged, whether they're crazy or whatever people projections
Thanks
are,
goodness we are crazy.
for sure. Talk about the difference between inner and outer authority.
Wow, inner and outer authority. Okay. So, as you said, all our education, everything from the first primary caretakers to our jobs later, there is an authority that is outside of us, and we are taught that they know better than we. So our parents know better than we do. Our teachers know better than we do. Our bosses know better than we do. Everybody knows better. Our doctors know better than we do. Everybody knows better than we do. What is actually happening is that we are taught not to trust ourselves. With this, we lose our own authority. So then when we grow up, you have all kinds of things. I'm not enough. I'm too much. All this questioning about who I am, what I am, do I feel it? Is it right what I'm feeling? Is my intuition correct? All of those things are coming because we don't believe that we have the authority about ourselves, because that's not what we were taught.
We're constantly bombarded with marketing and ads that are telling us how we should look. Of course, we're watching TV and listening to whatever were taking in is telling us how we should act. And then we end up judging ourselves and trying to match this image. We spend our life chasing other people's dreams and images of who we should be and what we should look like. And then we're told that we're not enough. We're told that we should be something other than we are. And then they sell us products and direct us into how we should be. Because we have such a strong need to belong, often we obey because the fear of not fitting in and not being accepted is bigger than the desire to become who we want to be. It's so scary, I think, in our modern world to be yourself, to be truly yourself.
I think it's almost impossible if you're not doing a serious pilgrimage, this one or any other. I think it's almost impossible. The print that we hold in us, that we are not enough / too much, that we don't know what's good for us, that there are other people that will tell us what we need and what's good for us. It's engraved so deep in us that it's almost impossible to break through this without doing a serious internal work.
We need to break through something, and what we're being asked to do is stay inside.
Exactly.
Like authority and all of the voices around us are telling us to stay inside the box.
Yes.
And without some kind of initiation that takes us through the experience of breaking out of the box and finding the freedom outside of it, we go into smaller and smaller boxes to feel safe. For centuries, we were initiated into adulthood. There were rituals in virtually every culture that initiated children into adulthood. And at some point, maybe it was the agricultural age when we settled in and tribes became villages and cities. At some point, the obedience was more important because you had so many people that you couldn't control those people beyond a certain number. And once the numbers of people living together and interacting grew greater, you had to control them. And it became more and more important for people to be obedient, because how do you control millions of people if they're not obedient?
I think I want to be very careful in making the past, how do you call it?
Romanticizing.
Romanticize the past. Because in the tribes, shits were going on as well. The guru, the leader was controlling, depends on the leader, of course, and depends on the time and where it was. But you had tribes where the leader was controlling, that you did not have the freedom, you needed to behave in very certain way. So I want to be careful with this. What I do agree with you is that there were ceremonies of rite of passages where you will step into adulthood with more consciousness and more education. Today, again, depends where you are. You have the legal system that is defining who is an adult. But you don't go in most of the world, you don't go through ceremonies that brings up or connect you to this wisdom inside you and awakes the authority that is you. So maybe you share the story because it's a very specific story because you were nagging me literally from day two, maybe not day one, but day two that we met and started to do things together. You were nagging me, let's do a long container, because before it, I was holding ceremonies. I want to call them standalone. I did a lot of long term containers in my previous careers in the corporate world and even before, but I didn't want to do it again. And you were nagging me. Will will you share why?
Yeah, I was so inspired. The first ceremony I came to, you opened with the drama triangle, and it was the first time I had met this framework. And then journeying and having the whole experience with the medicine, with the community through this framework, I came home and saw myself in the world so differently. It woke something up. I had a lot more awareness, and I just understood like the mechanics of how certain qualities of relationships were being created. How like power games were being created and how emotions were tied into this, and then I would come again and it would be another framework, and I began to see connections between them, and I felt the potential for intentionally designing a longer term experience and container that taught something, and then the next thing was built on that. So it like deepened my wisdom, deepened my knowledge, deepened my level of experience and embodiment with each thing. And I wanted to be held in a container that was longer term, so I would be immersed in the experience and the teachings. So, like, take learning a language, for example. If I'm taught a language, I go to a lesson and then I wait till the next lesson to speak the language again, then it's very difficult for me to integrate it and know the language and
Very true.
live it. I want to be immersed into the type of experience I had in ceremony, which fed my mind, sparked new perspectives, helped me see myself and the world in a new way, was immersed in like an intimacy, which was my heart was longing for and also terrified of. It came really from my own longing, my own desire to deepen my own personal journey.
And I didn't want to do this.
No, you didn't.
I didn't. Do you remember why?
I don't remember specifically, but I remember there's a theme of you not wanting to hold long term containers. For me, I believe it's just a fear of it infringing on your freedom.
Yes. And also it's like for me, before we did this, I did this already.
You did this for 30 years at least.
I was so fed up from this that I didn't want to go again into holding people in containers like this and losing practically my freedom. That's how it played out for me. It's like was a threat to my freedom. Just to understand, my calendar was booked 18 months in advance. Like a friend of mine want to see me, we need to book 2 to 3 months in advance sometimes. Crazy.
So going back to, you asked me why I wanted something long term. I was looking for genuine transformation. I was generally happy with my life, but it didn't have deep meaning. And I was really longing for something more meaningful that filled my soul. And I realized that this was not something that a ceremony, no matter what plant medicine I take, was going to flip a switch and all of a sudden I would be free.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot of what I was longing for too, is freedom. You and I went to a retreat in Austria
True.
called Black Butterfly,
True.
led by Ohad Pele.
Yes, the one and only. Seriously.
He's one of a kind for sure. Yeah, we're very inspired by this beautiful soul. And enough so that we flew to Austria to experience a container which is also a transformational container through the portal of sexuality.
Yes,
And it was a super intense container.
it was.
We enjoyed it thoroughly,
We did.
and we were challenged and were met
Oof.
with so many. One of the things I really liked about this retreat, which is similar to the spaces we hold, we were fed one lesson in teaching after another.
True.
Ohad's an exceptional teacher in my
Unbelievable.
yeah. And each of these frameworks that we were introduced to helped me see myself more and more clear. And then we went through rituals, which, puts you in a lived experience, usually in a very intimate space, across from 1, 2 to 5 people in a room full of 30 or 40. And that experience for me brought up, I pushed through thresholds of shame and all sorts of fears. And it was just a intense, rich, kind of birth canal pressure cooker of a retreat.
True.
Would you say this?
Yes, for sure.
Would you like to add anything? How would you describe this week?
The black butterfly?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's like meeting yourself full go, having so many mirrors around you where you can see parts of yourself where you couldn't see before, that you couldn't see before. And doing this day after day after day, it was also long. We started, I don't remember, it's like 1.5 years ago or something, but it's
Breakfast was like at 8, let's
8,
say. And so you're already even though you're eating, you're already
in the thing.
in a space with 30 something people.
Yes. And we would go to bed like 11.
Yeah.
Like really, not even go to bed, like released from the mutual space. It's really intense. And this dancing this through some kind of tiredness is also helping to
Exhaust the defenses.
Exactly.
You put it really well. I enjoyed hearing how you described it. Yeah, you meet yourself in this hall of mirrors through rituals and experiences that are at least offering an opportunity to meet your edges. And I think we met our edges with every opportunity.
We jumped on them. We were like, okay, where is an edge? Show me an edge. Yeah, we did it. It was fun.
It was fucking wild.
Yeah.
It was wild. We won't get into the details because there's some very personal and things going on there, but it was a wild fucking week.
Yeah, but if you want an edgy experience and you want to meet your edges through sexuality, Ohad is your person. Tell them Lilit and Omer sent you.
Yes, please. So one day, towards the end, we were out. We get relatively short breaks. We have a lunch with a little extended time after. So Lilit and I would usually go for a walk and integrate. We would share what each of us experienced and discuss what it meant to us. And we would begin to synthesize what we experienced. We talk a lot about freedom not being given and it being created. And one of the ways that I experience creating more freedom is by going through the fear, guilt, and shame that exists. And this container was just a constant pressure cooker of meeting these parts of myself. And through it, I experienced more and more freedom. And in this space of freedom, new ideas could come through and I could own them without the shame or fear of them being judged and my need to conform. We had been meeting a pain point for some time with the work we'd been doing. And at this point, we'd been working together for at least a couple years, something like that.
Yeah.
And we were traveling a lot. We're doing ceremonies in California. We're doing ceremonies in Colorado. We're flying to Michigan. We're flying across the world. It's super fun. We're loving it. And we felt exhausted. And we wanted to be home more at this point. And we wanted to attract more people to us. And we wanted to reach more people. I felt our work maturing and evolving. I felt our relationship maturing and evolving a lot. And so the spaces that we held were changing with time. And we wanted to offer these experiences to more people without having to fly around the world to do it. And on this walk, I had this realization that, wow, we could offer a long-term container that combined online experiences with in-person, but leaned a little more heavily on online experiences. And this would allow us to reach people from all over the world, and we could stay put. And it was a potential solution to this pain point.
Yes.
So just making sure you're with me.
I'm totally with you. I just have this memory of this walk precisely. We are going like this. There was like a ring where we could walk in this area, and like we would go this ring. We already knew this ring. And I remember exactly where we were whilst we were discussing this.
Maybe we paint a picture a little bit. We're in the middle of Austria, in the hills of nearly nowhere land. Each house or structure was miles away from the next. You could see the next one, but it was a valley and a hill or two away. And it's this vast, open, gorgeous nature. I believe it was fall.
Don't remember, I think, but
I think
the
it was like
weather was
October.
good. Yeah. But we had a good weather, almost no rain. It was chilly enough to put a nice coat, but it was yummy weather, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it was like sweatshirt hoodie weather,
Yeah,
which is
yes.
my favorite.
Yeah.
And there are trails all over. I mean, for as far as the eye could see. And so we would walk these trails up and down these hills. Some of them were through trees, and it's a gorgeous scenery. Anyways, so we're on this walk, and I share this idea. How did it meet you when I shared this idea that we could combine online with in-person experiences?
By then I was so tired from flying all over again because this was I was doing the 30 years before. And then I was just so tired from all of those flights. I was tired from the jet lag, because we came from Panama to Austria. I was tired from this whole experience, amazing experience. So I had a lot of tiredness, meaning my defense patterns and defense mechanism were seriously down. I was super exposed. Um, I felt super loved. I felt that you and me were very close, although we were going through crazy things, but there was something like there was a strong bond between us. I felt super safe. And then you brought it and it seemed so natural and such a good solution to everything that was bothering us. So we wanted to be more in our beautiful temple. We wanted to bring people more here. We wanted to travel less. So it all seemed we wanted to work with people deeper, especially you wanted this, I must admit. So it seems like this solution that you brought was exactly what we needed in order to allow all of this.
It was this moment of aha. It's like some download came through and it met both of us like, oh my God, yes. We knew something had met us, like some portal had opened, and we didn't know what it meant yet. We didn't have the structure, but we began discussing it. So what would
Nor
it?
the name, nothing.
Yeah,
We
we had
had
no. It
nothing.
was
We
just
just
an
had an
idea.
idea.
Yeah, just an idea of holding a long-term container that blended online and in-person experiences. And so we began discussing it throughout the rest of this retreat. And then we had hours on our travels home. And I remember us on the plane in particular.
Tell me.
I remember I was on fire. Like this inspiration had been with me for every minute since it came. And we wanted to sit down and start flushing it out and start giving it structure and start organizing this. So we started putting things on paper for the first time on our flight home.
We didn't work with ChatGPT yet at that
No, it didn't exist
time.
yet. We started watching. Do you remember what we watched on the plane?
No, remind me.
We watched some really inspiring marketing stories.
Oh, true.
I don't remember the details, but we watched the story of some woman that launched,
Bubble? No,
yeah, what's it called? The dating app.
this one.
Bumble.
Bumble. Yeah, this one.
And it met us at exactly the right time. And watching and learning from her story gave us all kinds of inspiration. And we're constantly taking notes, just taking, just recording notes after notes. And then I would dive into those notes and start organizing and then come back to you with what I had. And we ended up spending the next 9 months doing this. Originally, we thought we wanted a 12-month container.
True.
And we thought we wanted monthly journeys. So, like once a month for 12 months. Then what happened?
Then I thought it's too much for people to commit for 12 months and, like journeying every month. It felt to me too long. So we decided to move it to 9 months mainly because the connection to the transformation. So human transformation, 9 months is exactly the time that it takes to a human to become from a little egg to a full scale human. A baby one, but still a full scale. And we wanted to ride the natural cycle of things in nature. And then we thought that still it's too much. So we designed it as like 3 semesters.
3 trimesters.
3 trimesters, where in each trimester we develop something else. And we planned it so we will have a journey practically only once in every trimester, and the other 2 are teachings. Very quickly, when we started the first one, we saw that the demand is different, but maybe we will talk about it later.
Yeah, for sure. We pivoted mid pilgrimage and adopted to the demand and to what the field was asking for.
Which
yeah.
which is interesting because this is what we originally wanted to do, and then we didn't trust our internal authority and tweaked it to where we thought it will work better. But I'm really proud that we could stop and say, wait. The structure is not exactly, let's change it.
And then it took us 9 months to birth it, which was interesting. We didn't plan this.
No, we did not.
But from the inception at Black Butterfly to completing the creation of Adulthood took 9 months.
Yes, and we were working a lot.
We were working nonstop.
We literally invested 9 months every day, like a full working day, in creating this thing. And this was so difficult.
You want to share a little bit? I think it's really,
Wow.
it was quite a journey for us. We went through a lot in these 9 months.
Yeah. So first of all, the triggers that, like, we triggered each other to the max in this development process. Everything that was not settled between us came up. We found the non-appreciation that was hidden under our consciousness as a trigger, and not enough space. And I don't remember what else.
There were a number of our wounds that were being triggered and leading us into loops that were repeating virtually every time we sat down to work.
Jesus, it was so difficult. At some point, I didn't understand, why are we doing this? It's so much. It's not fun.
They were very similar wounds. We were both experiencing that we weren't being seen and heard. That, primarily for me, I felt like there wasn't enough room for me. That you were taking up the space. This is also didn't start with adulthood. This was, obviously this wound for me started very young, but in our relationship, it was something that showed up long before adulthood. Just the intensity of sitting every day for hours and developing this curriculum and the vision lit this wound for me.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And then you had the experience of me shutting you down.
Yes.
It's like whatever you would say, you would experience my no.
Yes.
And there were a bunch of things. I mean, we were going through each lesson that we developed became what's happening in our life.
It took us time to realize it. But at some point, we realized that what we are developing, the content that we are developing, the experience that we are developing, is exactly what's happening in our life and triggering in us, each one with their own things, the wounds that are related to this subject.
Yeah, the subject was also illuminating and allowing us to understand the wounds from a certain perspective. And we were also creating rituals and tools to navigate life with. And so we were using these tools in our own relationship. It's like, okay, what's actually going on here? Let's name what's happening for each of us. Let's name what wound is being triggered. Let's name how we're going into defense, how each of our defense is triggering the other's wound. and we're ending up in loops. We went through virtually every teaching in adulthood without revealing all of them.
For sure, we saw our meaning making processes.
Yeah. We saw our defense patterns,
Yeah.
the reflections and projections.
We met all our children. Oh my God, this was a complete kindergarten here.
We grew up a lot through this process.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to say about the development process? It was it was also my favorite thing to do.
Okay.
It was like, despite being triggered so often, there was nothing I wanted to do with my day more than develop and work on adulthood.
And you did an amazing job.
We did an amazing job. Thank you, though.
Yes.
Thank you. Eventually, we found a rhythm and our way of developing together. And it took a lot of conscious work. We had to consciously decide and devote ourselves to a way of showing up that allowed the other person to feel included and that inspired them.
Yeah.
And didn't shut them down.
Yeah.
It was a fucking thing.
It was a fucking thing, just imagine I was coming with the 30 years of experience, completely sure that I know how to do things, especially in this area of developing, courses and teachings and containers. And you were coming from a completely new space. And I felt that whatever I'm bringing has no space, has no appreciation, and just was, it was so triggering for me. It was so difficult. Wow.
Yeah. Which is crazy because there's few things I have appreciation for more than your wisdom and teachings.
I know it was
It's
yeah,
ridiculous. That's what
it
happens
was ridiculous.
when the kids are at play.
Exactly. We had all the kids at home. All the kids came home.
And in spite of all this, it was my favorite thing to do. It was like constantly deciding what are the most fundamental things for humans, for us to know and to learn and to experience in order to become more conscious creators. There was other, motivation that drove us. I think we skipped some of this too. A lot of the work that we've been doing, and particularly the development of adulthood, was really inspired by like the state of the world.
True.
We are living in this world where humans have unprecedented tools and power and ability. Yet what we seem to be creating is conflict, separation, polarization, loss of identity, and all sorts of like everything's in crisis, it feels like. We're
Yeah.
creating crisis.
Yeah.
We were very much with the question of how do we contribute without going into a savior, without trying to save the world, but how do we stay in our own integrity and
Remind people of their choice. Remind people that they have a choice. Because for me, at least my experience, when I'm talking with people that are suffering, it comes and we open a conversation, it always comes to a point where they believe that they don't have a choice. And for me, the basic component of adulthood is to remember that we always have a choice. Always. It has a price. But also staying in a suffering has a price. And this loop of I don't have a choice, although everything around us is full with options, is such a deep belief and such a narrowing of the human potential that for me, the basic approach or aim in adulthood is to remind people that they have a choice. And how their choice is taken is really important to understand, because the ones that are taking the choice away are themselves as well. So to understand how we take our choice away, I believe it's something that we do in adulthood. So what's happening when you understand how your subconscious mechanisms are working? You retrieve some of your choice and you retrieve some of your abilities and capabilities to create consciously. Because now you know how this mechanism working. When you know how the mechanism is working, you are not oblivious to it anymore. So you can put your consciousness into it. The moment you put your consciousness into it, you are in the adult games.
We're constantly creating our reality through choice.
Yes,
And much of the time, we're creating it through subconscious or unconscious choice.
most of it. Which is, of course, not free.
So, adulthood in many ways is creating life through conscious choice.
Yes,
And you like to call this the art of conscious creation.
it's very true.
Why is it an art?
Because it involves imagination of something that is not here now. It involves curiosity. It involves capacities and capabilities. And it's an art because it's a one-time dance. It's a one-time painting. It's a one-time expression.
Eso.
Every choice, every moment is a unique creation. And that's an art.
Coming back to the pilgrimage, why did we call it a pilgrimage?
Because we felt that that's what it is. Like we are starting in the starting point and we are doing a holy way inside into ourself. And when we were looking for metaphors, like where is it happening in other places in human transformational life, we remember the pilgrimage, the actual pilgrimage. You know, people are going to Mecca, people are going to Jerusalem, people are going, like literally going with their feet to arrive to a holy space.
It brings in like an element of sacredness.
Yes. The journey is what makes it holy. The arrival to the end point, to the holy place, is holy because of the pilgrimage, because of every step you did on the way. That's why it's a pilgrimage and not taking an airplane and arriving there. It's like going with your feet, going through nature, meeting the elements, meeting yourself, meeting those powers, and becoming in this walk, in this way, in this adventure, becoming someone new. That when you are landing in this end point of the pilgrimage, What made you a different person is the pilgrimage, not the holy space that you arrive to.
Wanted to talk more about the art of conscious creation and the wheel of conscious creation.
Sure.
In the adulthood pilgrimage, there's a very foundational perspective and framework to navigate life with, to create awareness and create choice where there wasn't choice before. And we call this the wheel of conscious creation.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about what this is?
So the results that we see in our life, the outcome, our, what people will say, reality, is an outcome of the meaning making that we did to an event which influenced everything around us.
Can you give us an example?
I'll give you an example from yesterday. We were in a family dinner yesterday. We shared something with my daughter, something that we created, and she reacted in a specific way. She didn't like it. I was super insulted. Why? Because the meaning making that I had to her reaction is that she's not appreciating, she's not supporting, she's not whatever. But the reality is that she just personally didn't like it. The meaning making that I gave to it inspired a whole range of emotion for me. This whole range of emotion for me, usually when I'm not conscious, when I'm not in the conscious wheel of creation, if I'm in an unconscious wheel of creation, this will inspire how I behave with her, how I will talk with her later, how, like how I will address her and how this event will develop. The conscious will of creation allowed me to hold the understanding of what is happening, and therefore allowed me to choose to give it a different meaning. Just to remind myself, oh, it's all good. She just don't like it. It's okay. She's an adult person. She's allowed to like and not like things. It doesn't mean anything about me. Holding this in my consciousness, holding the structure of the wheel of creation in my consciousness allows me to change the reality I'm living in.
There's a couple wheels inside of the wheel of conscious creation.
And that's very true.
So you're referring to the wheel of creation, as we
Yes.
call it.
Yes.
So this is a wheel that shows us how the meaning making we give creates our reality, essentially.
Exactly.
Now, we have integrated this with another wheel that I believe is actually giving you the conscious choice you're talking about. So the wheel of creation created an awareness for you of what's happening.
Exactly.
So instead of being oblivious, as you said before, to what's happening and then feeling like something is just happening to you or outside of your control, the wheel created an awareness. And through awareness, all of a sudden you have choice.
Exactly.
And this other wheel that we work with, which we call the four capacities of conscious creation, awareness is one of them. And
the first one.
And it has to be the first one.
Yes.
Without awareness, there is no choice.
Yes.
You are essentially a victim to what's happening, even if it's your own subconscious. You don't have conscious choice.
Exactly.
Now, awareness alone doesn't empower us to transform our reality.
No, that's why we need 4 capacities, not only one. Awareness can actually bring us to an awareness trap. And you can hear many people that are in, in workshops and stuff and exploring, I find they are getting stuck in the awareness trap, meaning, oh, I'm aware to me screaming when I'm angry. And that's it. So awareness doesn't change anything. Awareness is the first step, completely necessary, but it's not enough.
What else is required in order to become a conscious creator?
So the first one, for sure, is awareness. If you are not aware to what's going on, there is nothing you can do. After you gain awareness, I think the second one is
Acceptance.
exactly.
Why is acceptance important? What happens when you have awareness and you don't have acceptance?
You will continue blaming others for the situation. You will continue pushing what you don't like in what we call the shadows. You will continue explaining to yourself that what is happening is not actually happening because you cannot accept the things that you are aware of. So if you don't have acceptance, and at some point the awareness will not be able to expand. You can always be more aware to more things, right?
Endlessly.
Right. So now, let's say I become aware to the fact that there is a pattern in me that is feeling rejected. Okay? Like when you do something, my mechanisms give it the meaning of you reject me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now let's say I became aware to this. If I don't accept that that's what's happening, if I don't accept that there is a part in me that feels rejected, I will continue blaming you in triggering this in me.
In my experience, the lack of acceptance also creates a lot of judgment.
Yeah.
I coined my own term called the awareness gap.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, and I've experienced this personally and with a lot of people that we work with, is that there's a point where they start gaining awareness at a rate that the acceptance can't keep up. It's like I became more and more aware of how I'm behaving, how I'm creating things, and didn't have room to accept it. So I would become more and more judgmental of myself. I became harsher and harsher about myself
Yeah.
because I was more and more aware of how I'm showing up in the world in ways I actually didn't want to, but just wasn't aware of before.
Exactly.
The third capacity is expression.
Yes.
And why is expression important?
Maybe you say.
We can become aware of, let's say, a behavior or pattern or a way something is playing out. With acceptance, I can soften a bit and allow myself to be this way. Without expression, we become heavy. We can become depressed. When we're not expressing, we're usually suppressing, oppressing, or depressing.
If you cannot express the parts in you that you became aware and accept, first, you don't really accept them. Because why not to express them? Usually it's because of shame, guilt, or fear. So you now allow your awareness to show you that you have parts in you that you are shame and feel guilty that you even have them. If you cannot express them, if you cannot share that you have them, there is no way you can meet this guilt or shame. You cannot go through those guilt and shame, so it will continue living inside you. So there is no real acceptance. It's only when you express it, when you share it, when you show it out, that you really are dealing with the things that you became aware to and the things that you accepted.
So if we discover a truth and we hold a truth and we hold it inside, it's really not participating in the collective creation of life.
Yeah.
And then there's a distortion, because if you don't express your truth, you're actually expressing something else. You're expressing some distortion of the truth.
Listen, if I became aware that I have living in me a rejected child, okay? And this rejected child is playing out in different ways. She becomes angry. She has all kinds of behaviors. Now I'm going through this first capability and I became aware to it. Now I'm moving to the second one, which is accepting that I have this. It doesn't mean that I need to accept the behaviors. It just means that I need to accept that I have a part like this in me. And then if I cannot come to my beloved and share it with you, or if I cannot move this energy in an expression of a dance or a breath of a sound in my body, all of this will be stuck and taking me back to the beginning, to the before of the awareness.
These things end up getting stuck in our subconscious as we abandon them and they're not expressed.
And in our physical body, not only in our subconscious. All of this becomes disease. This is. It's not ease anymore. It's not in flow anymore. And all of this is happening because we don't allow ourselves to express. So you can express your internal emotions by movement, sound, and breath when there is no one else in the room. So if I'm angry and I will allow myself to express my anger, not towards someone, just allowing this energy to flow through my body, I will feel much better after. And I will be able to create a communication after.
You're already begging at the fourth capacity.
Of course I do.
Let me turn on the AC for us. We'll just record with the AC. It's getting too hot.
If you hear the AC, it's because we couldn't do it without anymore.
We're in Panama. It's
Yeah. Responsibility is the capacity that allows you to do the choice. Until you didn't arrive there, nothing really happened. So you can be aware, you can accept, you can express, but you can still stay in guilting and shaming. In this situation, what is my responsibility in it? Only when you arrive to this, you can start rolling the wheel of creation consciously.
Responsibility piece is what gets us out of victimhood.
Yes. And it's not about shouting at you, where is your responsibility? It's about asking myself, where is my responsibility in this situation? And sometimes, I want to say, sometimes we don't have a responsibility into the past. So let's say I was standing in the in a crossroad with my car. There was a red light. I was doing everything perfect, and somebody hit me from behind. Do I have a responsibility for this?
For sure.
What's my responsibility?
There's a lot of responsibility. One, you could have been aware of someone approaching you too fast from behind.
Yeah, but let's say I hear you. Because if we create everything, we could also be in another space. But let's stay like in the normal conventional conversation. Let's say I don't have responsibility in it. I was standing there, I was obeying the law, somebody came and hit me from behind. Wait. So let's say at that moment I didn't have the responsibility. But from that second that it happened, everything that I did after is in my responsibility. How did I come out of the car? Did I go to the hospital? How did I communicate with the person? How did I take care of my body after? What choices I made with this? All of this is already my responsibility. So if you do a snowboard and you do a huge jump and you hurt yourself in this jump, but then after this, you don't take care of it, you don't go to the hospital, you neglect it literally for 10 years, this is your responsibility for being injured after. It's very important for me to put this point because sometimes people are real victim. If you are kidnapped by someone that is stronger than you, you are a victim. I want to be very clear that there is being a victim in a real situation or holding a victim mentality long past it, long after. Many of the psychic disease that we see as PTSD, for example, is not being able to process a situation, not being able to go through the four pillars, the awareness, especially the acceptance, for sure the expression. Like if we talk about PTSD, for me, as I understand it and from my experience, most of the disease is coming because of the fear to talk about it, the expression part. So they might be already aware. They might be even accepting the idea that that's what they have, but the shame to share it, the fear to express it, doesn't allow them to move out and doesn't allow their internal mechanisms to process the event to the place where they can take responsibility of what's happening now.
We also want to make clear the difference between taking all of your own responsibility and not taking others.
Yes.
So a lot of people fall into the responsibility trap where they start taking responsibility for the whole situation.
We also do this.
Absolutely, we do this and begin taking others' responsibility as our own.
The art to take your own responsibility and nothing but your own responsibility, for me, is an art.
We talked a lot about taking our own responsibility and how it's critical to take care of ourselves first. Why is that?
Why it's important to take care of ourselves first?
We built this pilgrimage in 3 trimesters.
True.
And the 3 trimesters are the trimester of I, which is the first.
Yes.
The second trimester is the gate of we.
Yes.
And the third is the gate of all.
Yes.
In the first trimester, we are exploring self awareness, self acceptance, self expression, and self responsibility.
That's exactly what we do.
What happens when we move into the we or the all and we haven't begun with ourselves?
Oh, wow. This is opening a completely new portal of a conversation. Look, we are educated to sacrifice. The sacrifice is the hero. The one who is sacrificing is the hero. Sacrificing their own needs to the needs of the greater,
Yeah, it can be to the needs of someone else,
yeah,
or in religion, in greater context, it's to,
to God, to the king, to the queen, to someone. This idea was engraved in us by someone that has an interest. Because the truth is that you cannot take care of anyone else, anyone, if you don't take care of yourself. One of the problems for me, for women, for example, is that we don't have this example from our mothers. Most of our mothers were completely losing the care of themselves and putting all of the responsibility to care for them on the children. So she would sacrifice her life. You can hear it so many times. I did this for you, and I did this for you, and I gave up for this for you, and all of it. And then the children are actually carrying the responsibility for the mother. So the daughter is not learning that she needs to take care of herself first. You also need to be able to be selfish. That's a horrible word in our society and in our education. It's like the most insulting thing you can say to someone is that they are selfish, right?
yeah.
For me, there is a very big difference between selfish to self centered. Self centered comes from a wound. You're not able not to center yourself around yourself all the time because you were depraved from things you needed when it was your time to be the center of everything, which is a baby. Selfish, meaning you take care of the self before you take care of others. It's very different. Very, very different. And for me, I would love to bring back, as we bring back adulthood, I would love to bring back the word selfish in the connotation of you first take care of you. Not because you are self centered, but because you know that if you don't take care of you, you will not be at the prime time. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you are an athlete, okay? And you are now before a big competition. What's your main responsibility?
To warm up, to take care of your body and your state of mind, and to prepare.
And to eat right and to exercise right. So you need to be selfish in this, right? Otherwise, you will not be able to perform. Same for me with everything else. If you are a young mother and you don't take the time to eat the right things, to nourish your body, to sleep, to nourish your soul, you will not be able to give to your baby what they need. It's so simple.
I want to add now a layer of complexity because
Please.
life is not so simple. Why did we create three gates? It's not that one is more important than the other, I don't believe. It's that there is a capacity of awareness that is required of us to hold to be adult. If we take responsibility for ourselves, but not for the impact that our choices have on others, for me, this is also very childish. Would you agree?
Can you give me an example?
Cultures, particularly like American culture, this idea of self is, for me, becoming out of proportion to the balance of the we and the all. Being independent, being autonomous, being able to do everything yourself and not needing anyone else is of such high value that it's creating isolation and it's creating independence instead of interdependence. It's ignoring the fact that we live in a co-creative experience.
Yes. It's not one against the other. It starts with self-responsibility and it goes to mutual. Look, we all have responsibility to Mother Earth. We exhaust her. We use plastic to, for ourselves, and we kill her with this. We have responsibility for the planet. We are not taking it. But we are not taking it because we don't take responsibility for ourselves. The self-responsibility is the beginning of the journey. It's not the end. Yeah. Thank you for making this clear.
My pleasure, my love. Maybe do you want to talk a little bit about what?
I think I feel that we are doing it for forever.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what happens inside of the pilgrimage? What happened during our last pilgrimage?
No, I don't know. I don't know. What do you mean?
What is it like? People now may be interested.
They can go to our website, www.curioussouls.fun. Yes, not com fun. And everything is written there. You feel like you want to talk about it?
I don't know. I feel like we just wrapped up our first pilgrimage and it was wow. The experiences we had, the experiences others had, the things that surprised us that we didn't expect. There's so much that happened in the 9 months, and maybe we just save it for another episode.
Yeah, I feel that if people want to hear more, there is our website. There is an option to book a free call to hear more. Yeah, I don't feel
Okay.
called to share more. But if you do, I'm with you.
We didn't talk about the importance of community.
What do you mean?
I think there's a few core elements for to experience transformation. There was a number of elements that were absolutely critical. One was, let's say, the aspect of the mind, which is being shown new perspectives, creating more awareness, essentially. Like,
Yes.
and then there is an element of, and we talked about the element of time and participation, repetition, like this need of embodiment, the value of rituals and experiences, so that what we learn goes beyond the mind into a lived experience that a nervous system actually lives.
Yes.
And for me, one of the instrumental elements of transformation is community.
Yes.
Being able to share experiences, being able to be witnessed, but also witnessing others, seeing others experience, witnessing how they're going through their own limitations, it helps inform me. And without community, again, I'm in isolation. I can go through a course or even a multi-dimensional experience like ours, where we're learning things, experiencing things. And if I'm not doing it in community, it just kind of gets lost.
There is no chance that this child will grow without community. You know, even if you take the story of Tarzan, he was raised by non-human community, but still he was a part of the community. There is no life possible for the human race without community. That's not how we build. That's not our origin DNA. So you can become, you know, there is this story. I don't know if you read the book Siddhartha. This guy becomes enlightened until he comes out from the woods and his son comes to visit him. And all his enlightenment goes to shit because everything that you can hold with yourself will be reflected differently through other people. If you are in isolation, you don't have mirrors. Look at all the stories about Jesus. He was 40 days isolated. Yay, it's amazing. But then you come out from the isolation to test all your understandings, all your visions through your fellow people, because they will reflect back to you what you don't see.
With the pilgrimage, one of the things I think are really critical in the sense of community is it's a very different community from what you're going home to.
Yeah.
You're coming into a space where there's a different language, there's a different way of perceiving life. And if you are not held in this, if you don't have a community to hold this language, this culture that is being created, then you go back to your daily life, into the community outside of the pilgrimage, and you will go back to your old ways most of the time because the need to belong is so strong and the vibration is so different that just through law of resonance, you'll end up transgressing, regressing to the vibration that you're in.
For sure. That's why people that are addicted and going through a process of coming off their addiction, if they go back to the same environment they were before, they will go back to their addiction. Because you need the support and the reflection. Maybe you can share about this research that you told me about yesterday about reflections. That people became the reflection that way they were
Yeah, there
reflected on.
was a study. I read this yesterday, so I don't remember the details. It
We
was
need to check it. It's interesting.
yeah, it's really interesting. It showed that people in relationships became what their partner expected them to be. One takeaway from this research was you want to choose your partner not based on them accepting you as who you are today, but how do they perceive you? Because over time, you will become what they perceive you as. So when we're in an environment with people that know the old us, they expect us to behave a certain way. And when we come back behaving differently, often it can be met with resistance.
Uh-huh.
So the power of having a community that expects you to show up as an adult will inspire you to behave very differently
Yes,
from an environment that expects you to show up in the ways you've showed up before.
for sure.
When we have this community, we can go back to the community that knows us and actually hold a vibration long enough for them to have choice.
Very big yes.
Okay, maybe we close with, do we want to speak to who adulthood is and isn't for?
Sure. It's for everyone that want to be an adult, meaning that want to have freedom to create their life as they want and not be a puppet of their own wounds and the expectations of others.
I love you. Okay, if any of this sparked your curiosity,
Contact us
yeah, we're so happy to meet you.
exactly where you are,
Eso.
with no judgment, just acceptance and curiosity of what you can become,
Of who you want to become.
of who you want to become,
We want to meet you there.
right there.
Reach out. You can find us at curioussouls.fun.
Come dance with us.
You've been listening to
Lilit
and Omer.
to Curious Souls.
When we're not recording podcasts, we're creating sacred spaces for self-relational and spiritual exploration.
We offer private retreats tailor-made exactly for you.
We also hold ceremonies, intimate, private, or community.
All the way to our 9-month pilgrimage called Adulthood. We utilize the intelligence of plants
To guide you to meet yourself
and each other
more truthfully
playfully.
and with a lot more wonder.
Check out our website,
curioussouls.fun.
not .com, .fun.